А сейчас мы перейдем ко второму докладу, который делает Jasmin Babić, генеральный директор Geo-centar Asia, Thailand. Please.
Thank you, Chairman, and ladies and gentlemen. Won't be easy after our Chinese friend. I like it mostly Bentley and PHOTOMOD comparison. No further explanations. Yes. I'm coming from former Yugoslavia, where we have from 2003 company. Yeah, sure. Sorry. Maybe like this is okay. Yeah. And as I said, Geo-centar is from former Yugoslavia. Actually, the head office is in Banja Luka, Republic of Srpska, Bosnia and Herzegovina now, since 2003. And then since 2017, we opened a branch in Bangkok.
I want you to get closer.
Closer?
He is too tall.
No, I'm not. I'm a very regular Serbian guy. Okay. I'll tell you a little bit more about Geo-centar and about a few suggestions we found mostly in the close-range photogrammetry and dimensional control we are mostly doing in Thailand and Southeast Asia. This is what I already said. Since 2003 in former Yugoslavia, 2017 Geo-centar registered in Bangkok. Then the very same year I asked Rakurs to give us reseller rights for Thailand, but then they insist that we have to take all Southeast Asia except Vietnam. And most of the time I'm the only one covering about 600 million people, and I hope we will get some help about this matter later on. What Geo-centar can do, like we are a small group of people, not exceeding 10 in number, but because we are coming from the, let's say, uncomparable size or small area and small number of people in comparison to China or Russia, then any job related to geomatics, we should just fight to get it. And that's why small group of people, but we did everything. And as you could see, I try to put them in alphabetical order. It means almost everything what is geomatics we did and we are doing. And it means 3D CAD modeling, aerial survey by unmanned aerial systems or vehicles. I'll call them drones, as-built virtual replicas. We have a small modeling group in Banja Luka. We are planning to extend that one. We have bathymeter, and we did bathymetry surveys. Then cartography, of course, like all of us. And then decommissioning some parts of factories and refineries, mostly in Thailand. Then dimensional control, all of this what we are talking here, but then just increased in scale and start to talk about millimeters, but everything else is the same. And then digital orthophotos, digital surface models, digital terrain models, engineering surveys, GIS, land surveys, mapping, outsourcing, photogrammetry, and I mean this is all maybe repeating, but remote sensing in the sense I'll tell you, I'll explain more later. Remote visual inspection by drone, and there will be some questions for Professor Alexander from IGAIC from my side later on. Reverse engineering, stereo restitution, tank calibration, terrestrial laser scanning by terrestrial laser scanners, of course. I mean the survey grade and underground utilities detection by radio detectors and ground penetration radars. Geospatial data we work with, we have, let's say that drone is the survey grade drone from former Yugoslavia, from Slovenia. We have a Bramor PPX, and we have experience in working with satellite and man-made airplane collected images. And as we speak, there is also ongoing project Bosnia and Herzegovina and and Serbia, surveying with the Orion 300, where is phase 1 camera IUX and RC 1000. And I mean, the rest, not to bother you, it means geomatics, more or less, is what we can see on this slide. And all of these things we do, and we have almost all of these instruments except, let's say, or equipment except the airplane, satellite, and mobile mapper. Main industries we are targeting, but this is not the limit. I mean, not the full list, but just the main one, again in alphabetical order. Agriculture, where we deploy the multispectral multicopter drone with the MicaSense 5 with 5 channels camera. Then civil engineering, developers of various type, electricity distribution grid, where we are talking about implementing ultraviolet camera to find out where they have problem in distribution grid by the help of so-called corona effect. In oil and gas, our major clients are coming from oil and gas at this time. Ports, Thailand has, let's say, sea and river and airports. Power plants, processing industry, renewable energy, roads and railways, telecommunications, tourism, and so on. Main software we work with, again in alphabetical order, Agisoft, Photoscan, Metashape, Autodesk, AutoCAD, Aviva, and then Aviva is very interesting. It's like a specialized GIS for processing industry and oil and gas industry, LFM, PDMS, and the latest one, E3D. DTM software LSS, where we use the terrestrial laser scanning data to produce the topographic maps and do various calculations, let's say the bound capacity around oil tanks and so on and so on. Faro scene, like a cyclone, and I put with purpose the number and the list of all of these softwares because later on my suggestion will be related to this slide. Like a cyclone, True View, Parrot Pix 4D, and Raccource PHOTOMOD for sure, and Trimble RealWorks. So far, in this relatively short time and with little, let's say, manpower, we make very nice contacts, mostly with the company, public limited company, Qualitech from Thailand, which is mostly involved in various type of inspections, including remote visual inspection, where we came in touch with the company SkyView, which is the company, I will tell you later a little bit more, but just one moment. The guy, the Mr. Vivat Wong, opened the company when he was 67 years old. It means this moment talking about never is late, and the company is doing very well, and it is like high tech. And there is a company Tech Surge owned by German guy from Munich, but mostly working in Southeast Asia. They have big modeling office in Philippines, and Vonotech also mostly working in Philippines. They are the guys which are doing this rope access on the high-rise buildings and the maintenance and so on and so on, where we can help with remote visual inspection by drone. We are proud of many things, but I just put a few points. On the picture is a Geo-centar founder, Vladimir Petrovic, with our Bramor PPX UAS, and the payloads which could be taken by Bramor PPX. And then with SkyView, we have these multicopters. They are all interesting, and some of our colleagues already mentioned DJI S600 or M600, but this one is or S1000, even more powerful and also stable. But the most interesting is the one in the cage, bouncing when touch any obstacle, and it's used for confined spaces inspection. It is made by a company from Switzerland called Flyability, and the name of drone is Helios. On the picture, on the photo, there is a Helios 1, but now there is already Helios 2 with a lot of improvements, and there is a lot of work in remote visual inspection for exactly that drone. I'm sure in Russia should be as well. And then the PHOTOMOD, everything known, and we just recently purchased one monitor from Germany, expecting by the end of the next month to be delivered, this 27 inches PluraView, which is available in all your presentations. That I saw some of these monitors in 2007 when I was in PHOTOMOD in Rakur's office in Moscow, with a stealth 3D mouse. And also we do, as I already said, calibration, tanks calibration, where is connection between digital replicas and the virtual reality, mathematical model of the real world, and in oil and gas they call it digital twins. It means we are all, and without any doubt, going further into further digitalization, and the level of details, LODs, will reach one time. Everybody will say, I'm not satisfied anymore with LOD 1 or 2. Then everybody will say, I want now 3 and 4. And why I'm talking about this, or I can say for myself, personally, I felt the moment when terrestrial laser scanners became more common, and when we start to produce 3D models for various clients, then we became our place between the other engineers, civil engineers, and electrical and mechanical, and you just name it. We again gain the rightful place between them, because it was one period before laser scanning took off, and before these virtual replicas made by from point clouds, like oh, you are what you are in English speaking terminology. We are not graduate engineers of geodesy. They call us surveyors or senior surveyors, and many of these guys are even without college or university or so on and so on. And there's a different topic, but it was mentioned in some of these presentations, who can work in data collection or geospatial data today. And there is one term, I like it a lot, and I will just mention for everybody to hear. They call it now geospatial data acquisition, and even certain level of processing and reporting is democratized. We have now a situation that anybody doesn't have one day schooling or training about geospatial data acquisition and so on. Just after 5 minute explanation, do this, do that, follow these 3 steps, and when you finish the third one, come to the first one and repeat, and then we cannot compete with them. And in Thailand, let's say, we are, I can say, suffering because of that, because they are lowering the price and the cost, and then we are fighting against that one with the higher quality, shorter terms of project execution, and so on and so on. Okay, terrestrial laser scanning already I mentioned. Helping the processing and the other industries, oil and gas, to speed up and to reduce the cost of their maintenance and repairs and renews and so on and so on. We do writing and publishing. Let's say this is a potential use of drones in Geo-centar, more than 230 pages. I cannot say that this is scientific work, but at least it is systematized work where you can find anything or many things from A to Z about photogrammetry, remote sensing, survey grade sensors, consumer grade sensors, cameras, and many other things. Anybody interested, I can give the link and you can have a look. This is, we did some research between many other in Republic of Srpska about thermal balance and how the roof angle toward the sun can influence the final thermal balance of the buildings. And then PHOTOMOD improvement as suggestions. From our point of view, like we can number these 5 plus 2 on the other slide, 7 suggestions. We are very happy that we have with 6.4 version singular object processing option. It means now for us it's important that when we, for example, do the laser scanning and we want to produce the 3D model of the, let's say in oil and gas, they have these flare stacks of up to 150, 170 meters tall. Then we do the laser scanning, terrestrial laser scanning, and we can reach maybe half with the required accuracy, and then we are suffering what to do with the next half of or the upper 2/3. And then my question later on will be for Professor Alexander. Can we deploy the drone equipped with, let's say, 40 megapixel camera, and then shoot characteristic details with total station from the ground reflectorless, and then produce the same level of accuracy, combine these two, and produce the final model. And I mean, congratulations for singular object processing option, processing of thermal infrared images. We have some activities required from agriculture, or let's say again in remote visual inspection, and then we cannot do it in one, let's say, PHOTOMOD environment. Then we need to go to Pix4D to do these analyses. It means integration and flexibility should be, and I think it is already one of the main goals of further PHOTOMOD improvements. And we are just suggesting if you have capacity and possibility, could be nice if you develop modules specialized for processing of infrared and near-infrared images. Module for agriculture and the vegetation index. Again, we have to go out from PHOTOMOD and use, let's say, Pix4D or some of the other software. Could be nice if there will be module in PHOTOMOD to do these things. Then module for terrestrial and aerial LiDAR data processing, registration, conversations, inputs, exports. I mean, could be really great. Like, I mean, there is no politics so far, but I'm coming from former Yugoslavia. I should put a few sentences related in certain way. Let's say in this time when we have this unjustifiable and really unbelievable, very difficult to understand containing policies, sanctions, I don't know how. And I feel this one in everyday communication when I'm talking, oh, we are cooperating with Russian software, working with Russian software. Sometimes you feel they will not tell you, but some guard and some distance they like to keep. And to broke these things, I mean, this will pass. I don't know when, but it will pass. We have to be just persistent. But my suggestion is, I mean, you should be better than anybody else and conquer them with quality, affordable prices, and that's it. And then number 5, if PHOTOMOD already working with point cloud derived from stereo pairs by photogrammetry, LiDAR scanners, scans and their processing shouldn't be out of reach. And also, I can, based on our experience with the Brammer PPX, for example, Pix4D contacted Brammer PPX producer C Astral, and then they introduce, when you buy or upgrade the firmwares of the drone, then you have option now, you just collect the data and say save as in Pix4D format. You don't need any export, conversions, or so on and so on. And I think PHOTOMOD could do the same, to approach these relevant manufacturers of various drones and to offer this option. And the last one, about PHOTOMOD UAS. I mean, this is my favorite, and I'm really thinking when I go to DJI office and sale places, when I see all of these drones, talk to the salesmen and try to explain about PHOTOMOD, most of the time, until I see somebody I talked previous time with, they have no any idea, they never heard about PHOTOMOD. And it means if that module will be further lower in price and offered same like a Kaspersky antivirus or on their shelves when they enter the shop, that they see PHOTOMOD, UAS made by Rakurs, affordable price, doing all of these things which could be done by competing softwares, plus stereo restitutions, plus many other things. And I think that could be a good idea that we break through. I can talk now about Southeast Asia, but I think that can be implemented in the rest of the world. And some nice picture, one time in 365 days. Kopma Cup, and they say in Thai, I live there almost 6 years now. Thank you very much for your time, and
Большое спасибо. Очень интересно было услышать предложение нашей компании. Пожалуйста, вопросы.
Вопрос. Could you take on the phones? Хорошо. Тогда... Нет, вопрос был в обработке тепловых изображений. А в чем заключается фотограмметрическая обработка тепловых изображений? В чем принципиальная разница? Потому что мы делаем проекты с тепловыми изображениями. Что ты-то хочешь?
I mean, if you have module which photogrammetry, of course, but that is not under the question. That is already there. I'm talking about remote sensing point of view, where we can use this thermal infrared images to distinguish the temperature of the flare or certain parts of this factory installations, and then further to say in this area you have rust and missing and some how does it say broken places and so on, so on. It means any place where the infrared analysis can help.
Я понял. То есть речь идет о распознавании.
Спасибо. Поскольку у нас мало времени, давайте опять отложим вопросы на дискуссию. Спасибо, мистер Babić.